Hello, everyone. Welcome to World Cricket Chat. And yep, it's me, Shruti Chopra here. And yes, Suneer Chowdhary is here too. Hi, Suneer. It's been quite a while since we've managed to record something together. How have you been?
I've been good, Shruti, and it's all thanks to the Mumbai traffic that a couple of our plans came undone. But yes, I think an audio is a good way to go, and probably we can have a video soon.
Yes, I'm sure we can. Now the playoffs are upon us. It's that time of the season. And we now have our top four teams in place: Mumbai Indians, Rising Pune Supergiant, Sunrisers Hyderabad, and the Kolkata Knight Riders. Would you have picked these four to be at the top at the start of the IPL season?
I would have picked Mumbai, Kolkata, to an extent Sunrisers Hyderabad, but no, I did not think that the Pune Supergiant team would make it to the playoffs. I thought that they had made some surprising choices during the auction, but here they are at the expense of a team like Gujarat Lions, who were there in the playoffs last season. Derry Daredevils, who could have done well, and the team that I thought would probably go on to win the title this time, the Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Yeah, in fact, the Royal Challengers Bangalore surprised all of us so much so that we did an entire video on them. So,
Exactly. The Royal Challengers Bangalore have been a strange case with their bowling being taken care of this time. Usually it's been their bowling which has been a problem for them, but for them to go through a tournament without their batsmen doing too much, we saw Virat Kohli score one in their last game against Delhi. But before that, it's been all haywire from their batsmen. Chris Gale out of form, maybe De Villiers out of form, Kohli struggling, Shane Watson. I don't know when was the last time he played an innings of substance when it comes to batting. KL Rahul injured, Sarfraz Khan injured, and that's what you get when you have a team struggling with all those issues. In eighth position out of eight teams and just 6 points in the tournament.
yeah, it has been a sorry state of affairs, but we're here to talk about something a bit more positive, which is the first qualifier. Mumbai Indians facing the one team that has beaten them both times they've met, the Rising Pune Supergiant. Sunil, why has Pune managed to get the better of them each time?
You mean apart from batting, bowling, and fielding better in those games?
Ouch. Well, that's exactly my point. Why have things gone wrong for Mumbai against Pune?
Well, jokes aside, I think it's a format that allows such results. But in those specific games, we can speak about those specific games. Pune had game changers at different times during the matches. I was there for one of the matches at the Wankhede Stadium between Mumbai and Pune. In the previous meeting, in the first meeting, Imran Tahir, and Steven Smith, they did well with the ball and the bat. And then in that match that I was speaking about at the Wankhede, Tripathi, Stokes, and even Jaydev Unadkat did not have a great game in that one, but he came back well to bowl those last few overs, and that's where they turned the game around. Obviously, I would not want to speak about the umpiring decision. There's a wide that was not given, and Rohit Sharma obviously bore the brunt of it at the match referee's office as well. But apart from that, yes, Pune will go into the playoffs with that confidence of having won both their games against the Mumbai Indians.
Well, hopefully it won't be. It will be third time lucky for Mumbai, at least from my end. But Mumbai's last league game, they made 6 changes, of which Ambati Raidu got man of the match for his 63 of 37. And he did keep fairly well. I know he said he was rusty. What does Mumbai do now? Keep him on and let Parthiv Patel sit on the bench for this one, or keep Parthiv and swap with another?
Well, there's a third option, and that is to bring both of them in and drop Rana and Saurav Tiwari, Nitish Rana and Saurav Tiwari. Parthiv Patel has been the third highest run getter, done a good job opening the innings. He's not really converted his starts, but that's okay when you are giving your team good starts. And when I say good starts, it also means playing at a good strike rate, and that's what he's been able to do with his partner, whoever that partner has been, whether it's Josh Butler or Lendl Simmons. Rana, he started out well in the tournament, had those amazing innings to begin with, scored a couple of 50s, and looked good before his form seemed to have tapered off a bit in the last few games. Now, usually what happens is that when you are fresh in a tournament like IPL, you're given those fewer opportunities to to fail. If you are a player like a Karen Pollard is, who has been there around for a long time, you were probably given more opportunities to fail because you know that you're a proven customer. In this case, Nitish Rana is in his first real IPL season and he's done well in those first few games. But then those failures in the last few games might prove to be costly for them. Tell you what, had Rohit been opening the innings or even opened in a few games to tell us that he is ready to open innings, I would have called for Parthiv and Rohit to open and for Mumbai Indians to even play just 3 overseas players, Shruti.
Interesting. Now, 3 overseas players for an important game like this. What would your 11 be then?
Look, again, this has only had Rohit open the innings for a few games. I'm not sure that he's interested in opening the innings for Mumbai Indians, and I'm not sure whether he want to change something that has worked for him batting at number 4. He started to get his form back. Obviously, there were calls for Rohit to open the innings because there's a Champions Trophy coming in, and he might be the opener there. But here's what could happen, or what I would want to happen is for Partha Patel and Rohit Sharma to open the innings, which means Lionel Simmons unfortunately misses out. He's been doing well as an opener for the West Indies in this format, for the Mumbai Indians in this format. As you said, Ambati Rayudu won the Man of the Match award last time. He was out injured, but once you're back from your injury, you are supposed to regain your place in the side if you're not dropped earlier. So I would give the number 3 position to him. Nitish Rana can come in at number 4. You have the Pandya brothers and Kieron Pollard. That's 3 of them sharing that number 5, 6, and 7 position. Depending on the situation, Pollard could even be promoted up the order, but that's again a team management decision. And then you have the 4 bowlers: Harbhajan, McClanagan, Bumrah, and one of Malinga Johnson. So you have three overseas players. You have a bowling lineup which has 5 frontliners, 5 frontline bowlers. If you include Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya as frontline bowlers, that makes it 6. You have Pollard if necessary. That's 6.5 good bowlers in the side, and you have a batting lineup that goes right down till Pollard at number 7, Harbhajan at number 8, and McClanagan can also hit a few around. So it's a playing 11 that could still win you matches.
In fact, what's been good for Mumbai is that their Indian players have done really well. So it's quite a good problem to have, but then it can also add unnecessary confusion within the team management.
It could. That's the reason why I think that's one of the reasons why Rohit might not want to change things around, which would again go back to us discussing which player would be dropped. Because if you're looking at Partha Patel in the side, who has been opening, you're looking at Raidu coming back, and you have a Nitish Rana, then you probably have place for just the 2 of them. So unless there are some injuries, last minute injuries, we've seen Krunal Pandya having gotten injured as well in a game or 2. So unless that is the case, I think one of these 3 will have to be dropped.
Well, the mystery will be cleared for us tomorrow. But let's look at their opposition, Rising Pune Supergiant. Their investment in Ben Stokes really paid dividends, but that investment now expires. He's off to England. Who would now make way in the team for Stokes, and what sort of tactical changes will they need to make?
It's not only no Ben Stokes for them, and that's a big loss. There's no Imran Tahir as well, and Imran Tahir did not play in the previous game as well. Adam Zampa came in. So that was sort of a like-for-like replacement, but there is no like-for-like replacement for Ben Stokes, who can bat well and bowl well, and this is not only on paper. He has been the standout performer for Pune in this tournament. He did not have a great start. We had a chat about this, and we'd spoken about how Ben Stokes could be feeling a bit of pressure because this is the first time he's playing in the IPL. This is the first time he's playing in a tournament where there are 50,000 people supporting your team, which is a different kind of pressure than from when you're touring a team where there are 50,000 people against you. So he would have felt the pressure, but he's come off well, having taken 13 wickets in the tournament, 10 at crucial times, 300 plus runs scored. So it's Ben Stokes' absence that will be really felt by the Rising Pune Supergiant, and there is no way that you can replace a player like him. You either get in a batsman and an Usman Khwaja, or you get in a bowler like a Lockie Ferguson. And And that's what the team will have to decide based on the pitch, based on how the batsmen are feeling or the bowlers are feeling. You either go in a batsman shot or a bowler shot. Look, if Ferguson plays, the batting really gets weakened because then you have a Dan Christian coming in at number 6, and you add an out of touch MS Dhoni. He's not been doing too well since that innings that we saw against the Sunrisers Hyderabad. He's not really done well, keeping very well, but the batting has not really clicked at number 5, which forces a top 4 to do most of the work. Now, they did not have much work to do in the previous game against the Kings 11 Punjab when Punjab were bowled out for 73. But when you have a team like Mumbai Indians, they end up scoring a 200, 180, 200, it's going to be a problem. So the other option that Pune could have is probably to drop Washington Sundar, who's more of a bowler these days than a batsman, and bring in someone like Lockie Ferguson and a Baba Aparijit. Now, Baba Aparijit is a batsman, a middle order batsman who can also bowl a bit. So your bowling kind of gets taken care of, and you have a batsman who can get in and score some runs. Now, obviously, I don't know how Aparajit is doing in the net session, in the training, so I'm not too much of clue, but either that or you have an option of someone else playing a very similar role from the Indian setup. But all in all, it's going to be a tough one for the rising Pune Supergiant in the absence of Stokes.
Yeah, it seems like quite a challenge. Now, who would your pick be for this first qualifier at Wankhede?
Well, I'll go with the Mumbai Indians. Despite Pune's 2-0 record against this team this season, it's hard to see the Mumbai Indians lose to a side that does not have Stokes, that does not have Imran Tahir, and is playing at home with all that support. So it's Mumbai Indians for me.
Suneer, I believe Mumbai will need to really push themselves and take risks towards the end of this game to go their way, whereas Pune will need to get a bit more aggressive with their batting to challenge the Mumbai bowlers. It seems like quite a battle. So the team that should be off to Bengaluru for the second qualifier should actually be with Pune.
So that means Mumbai Indians to win again?
Yes, it's Tire Advantage Mumbai Indians.
It's Shruti Advantage Mumbai Indians.
That's also very true there. Now, moving swiftly on to the next one, which is the Eliminator on Wednesday in Bengaluru on a pitch that has favoured the bowlers more this IPL. It'll be Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Kolkata Knight Riders. Both teams pride themselves on their bowling, don't they?
You could say that, but I also believe that Kolkata is a more complete team. They haven't done too well in the last 4 or 5 matches, but they're a more complete team. They have a good set of bowlers, and they have guys like Gautam Gambhir, Chris Lynn, Surya Kumar Yadav has not been doing too well, but Robin Uthappa, Manish Pandey. So they have the core batting lineup from India as well. Chris Lynn has obviously been doing well as an Australian. So I would say that Kolkata in that sense have a better balance in their lineup than Sunrisers Hyderabad, but Hyderabad have a better set of bowlers, so that kind of rounds it off a little.
Sunil, well, you missed out Sunil Narayan there.
And yeah, I know. I've spoken about Sunil Narayan as a high quality top order batsman in one of our previous videos, but he's been found out in the last few games. Only 150 in the last 7 matches, and no other score of even 20 in them, which could push the Kolkata Knight Riders into rejigging things around a little bit, especially given how they performed in the recent times.
Well, we'll get to that in a bit, but Hyderabad had a good start to the league games, and then there was a wave of inconsistency. We've spoken about this in our videos too, but with most of the games over, has their reliance on Warner been just a bit too much? If he fails against Kolkata, will the entire team struggle again?
First thing is that in a tournament this long, that there will be these phases when things go up and down. But looking at those stats, Warner has obviously been a top scorer, but even Shikhar Dhawan has scored 468 runs, which is a lot of runs. No Mumbai Indian batsman has scored those many runs in this tournament. Andre Case has chipped in, so has Kane Williamson. Yuvraj Singh started off well, but did not have a great time towards the end. Hyderabad, the 5 games that they've lost in the tournament, Warner's scores in those 5 games have been 49, 26, 43, 30 and 40. So there have been 3 40s, 130 and a 20 from Warner. Not failures by any stretch, and still Hyderabad lost those games. These are good T20 scores, in fact. It's just that in those games, the others have struggled to get going. And it's not only the batsmen who have struggled to get going. 3 of those 5 games were lost to poor batting, but 2 were lost to poor bowling as well. So it's hard to say that it's over reliant on Warner, because the bowlers also have a big part to play. And the day that the bowlers don't do well, like any other T20 match, you obviously end up losing the match. And we're looking at just 5 matches lost out of 14, which is not a bad record from Sunrisers Hyderabad.
That's also true. It just sometimes it just seems like we're a little too reliant on Warner when we watch him play. But Warner does have the orange cap, and more importantly, Bhuvneshwar Kumar has been leading the pack for quite a while with the most wickets and the purple cap. Good times for Hyderabad there.
Very good times for Hyderabad and good times for India heading into the Champions Trophy as well. You know that the conditions might just assist him to begin with, and the swing that Bhuvaneshwar Kumar would help India. 25 wickets at 14 in the tournament at an economy rate of less than 7 is wonderful stuff. He's bowled with a new ball. He's picked up wickets at the death, bowled those Yorkers brilliantly, installed the run flow as well. And that it will be interesting to see how he goes at Bangalore, where the surface has been slower and too paced. It might make it even more difficult for the batsman. He's a confidence bowler. He's been amongst the wickets. He can change things up with regards to pace. So it will become difficult for the batsman to score off him as well if he can get those variations right.
Well, now before we speak about Kolkata facing Hyderabad, I have to ask you this. Why were KKR adopting RCB type tactics against the Mumbai Indians on Saturday? I was surprised. They were really nicely placed ahead of the run rate, but it seemed like they had ants in their pants.
Well, it was a very angry Gautam Gambhir at the end of the match. He lambasted his team for looking to chase down those runs, 170 odd runs in 10 or 12 overs, in his words. It was a shoddy batting performance. You use the words ants and pants. It was more like a rolling stone down a steep hill without any brakes. They were batting in the fifth gear. And they refused to go back to fourth, third, second, or first. I mean, you lose a wicket, you lose a couple of wickets, you probably try and rebuild, but there was no such thing. They wanted to go berserk, and they lost the match there. I think it could have been to do with Kolkata's lack of confidence. I discussed this earlier. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 games, and they were going into that Mumbai game with a defeat at the hands of Kings 11 Punjab, where they tried to chase a very similar score. It was a 160 odd score. Against Mumbai, they had to score 170 odd. They were chasing that very similar score in a more traditional way. It started off well, then they had to slow down a little as you slow down after the 6 over mark. But they kept losing wickets, and they ended up losing that match. That combined with those 4 defeats in 5 games probably might have confused the Kolkata Knight Riders how to approach this particular game. And all of a sudden, from being almost certain of a top 2 berth, they're down to playing an eliminator. And there's a lot of pressure here. There's a lot of pressure in that game, in the previous game, because they knew had they lost that game, they would play in the eliminator. They lose that, and they're out of the tournament.
Speaking of approach, both teams, I'm talking about Kolkata and Hyderabad, have lost to each other when they have chased, and that too by healthy margins of 17 and 48 respectively. Do you think they will want to bat first at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium?
Interesting one. Hyderabad don't mind batting first, as we saw even in the last IPL final. And even this year, they have won 5 of their 8 games batting first. Kolkata, on the other hand, will enter the game with 4 defeats from 5 games, of which 3 have come batting second. Plus, you add this Bangalore surface, a slow, double-paced pitch, where it's 3-3 in terms of teams batting first or second, winning the game. Plus, it's a pressure of a knockout game. You lose this, you're out of the tournament. The only thing that needs to be seen here is, from the 2 teams, is the due. Now, if there is due, if there is a prospect that there would be due, I think the teams might not want to take the risk of batting first. But if there is enough indication that the dew won't come down that early, as early as 9:30, or if it doesn't come down, then the team winning the toss could well be batting first here.
So, Suneer, it's time for my final question before we end this podcast. Who will stay in Bangalore for that second qualifier and hopefully against Pune? Who will win this one, Suneer? Hyderabad or Kolkata?
So unlike the first one, unlike the Pune Mumbai one, I'm not as certain about this one. It's a bit of 6 of one and half a dozen of another for me. But I will go with the Knight Riders, and I'll probably go a step further and say that Knight Riders are favourites to get to the final as well.
Oh, nice. Now, see, Kolkata would be my favorite because I just would like to see Kolkata win. But with a heavy hat, I'll have to say it's Tara advantage Sunrisers Hyderabad because I just think they'll manage to be more consistent with the bat and ball. So you're going with Kolkata, I'm going with Hyderabad, and we're together on the first one for Mumbai Indians.
Mumbai Indians, I'm not surprised that you said Mumbai Indians. I'm surprised that you went with Sunrisers Hyderabad for this one. In fact, I remember a podcast we did in the previous IPL. I think it was a match between Sunrisers Hyderabad and the Kolkata Knight Riders, and both of us said it would be Kolkata Knight Riders to win it. And in fact, it was Hyderabad who had won it last time.
So this time, one of us should get it right. That's it. Thank you all for listening to us. We should be back with more IPL previews and predictions once this Eliminator is over. Until then, do subscribe to this channel and do follow us on Twitter at World Crick Chat. Have a good week. Bye-bye.